Well, last week we got the tires set, and after they dry out a little bit, the next step is to do all the finish sanding. We're going to line up all the joints, kind of route the corners off a little bit, and it was requested that I would go ahead and put the oil on these wheels to seal them up before they're shipped. So we'll do that also. Well, this is the final steps of all the sawdust making and dust making through these wheels. And even though I sweep the shop floor regularly and I have a dust collector, there's lots of fine dust that still accumulate. Well, you see this white panel on the upper left, and as it went across the shop, I used to have a wall here. My goal was to kind of try to separate the sawdust making area from my welding area. And I thought I was trying to do a good thing in keeping the two separate. And periodically, when the wind is right and the conditions are right, I take an air hose and I blow off all the places that I can't get to with a broom. There's so many tools and different odds and ends that it's tough to get in with the broom, so I take an air hose and I just hose it all down. Well, back in 2005, I was working late. I had a deadline for some wheels that were going to Utah, and I was working maybe about till 1 in the morning. Well, I went home, closed things up. Well, I got a call at 4 o'clock that morning from the fire department that my shop was on fire. What had happened was that wall that separated the two had a little corner in it that I never did get to with the air hose. It accumulated dust, and a little spark got there and ignited. And so, consequently, I never did put that wall back in there. I wanted access to the whole shop, and I am pretty careful about how much dust accumulates. So systematically, I go through and I blow everything out. You know, there's a common thread in the history of the carriage industry. There was lots of shops that burned to the ground. Well, we had fire departments from the whole county here that morning, and we had one that was up on the roof with heat sensors kind of monitoring the temperature at the roof. And they told me after the fact that if it had ever broken through the roof itself, we'd have lost Main Street of Joliet. So my hat's off to those that dedicate their lives to fighting fires and protecting the rest of us. In this case, it made all the difference. They did their job, they did it well, but it taught me a lesson. I try to be pretty careful. Well, one thing that's kind of different about these Spanish-style cannon wheels is they don't have bolts through the tire, through the felloes. They actually, to be authentic and correct, would have had what they call strakes, sectional type tires that were nailed on. So instead of bolting these, I'm going to divide these wheels into 4 sections, and I'm going to put 4 pins into the tire that's going to help these tires from shifting side to side. Well, since the oil on these wheels contains linseed oil, if you leave rags around with linseed on them, they have a tendency to spontaneously combust. So everything goes into the fire. Don't leave them sitting around. Well, we finally made it through. We went from a crate of raw wood to 12 finished wheels. The only thing left is they need to go to Florida. So I'll crate them up and send them home. Thanks for watching.